to your August 16th, 2017 edition of Spam with Frank and Andrew. But there's no Andrew this week. He's in his setting up his Rush Limbaugh studio in his Maryland place. So I don't know why he couldn't get on the air for an hour. He's always he's on my feed every 10 seconds. He's tweeting about everything. He's posting stuff. But I guess Andrew will be back next week. So we brought back James. James was on a few weeks ago. I believe it was about a month ago, maybe. James is the happy gentleman who's going to get married in a few weeks. We'll bring him on in a little bit. So I guess what could we talk about this week? But the stuff that happened over the weekend, and then even worse is the stuff that happened after the weekend with the fake news and really all the media. They just show you really what the agenda is in this country, and it's just terrible. I mean, over the weekend in Charlottesville, of course, everybody knows that scene with the car mowing down the crowd of people. One girl died, and many injured. That's not good. Somebody dying is not good. But then Trump comes out and my God, what an evil man. He blamed both sides, many sides, as he said, and all hell broke loose. Because that shows you who the media and really all of entertainment, the people that control the culture, they show you they tip their hand. They're showing you their hand who they're on and whose side they're on. I mean, nobody, the media, they'll tell you that the evil fascist, evil neo-Nazis, white supremacists, they were responsible for all the violence. But of course, the media and the stupid American public, yeah, they're stupid. They never heard of Antifa, right? Nobody ever heard of Antifa. Everybody forgot who Antifa is. Those people who show up to all these protests and universities dressed in black wardrobe. They look like ISIS with black masks. They burn stuff. They break property. They hurl stuff at people. They attack anybody. If you're not with their way of thinking, they attack you. And these people are communists. They're communists. That's what they are. I had to go online and argue with somebody. And they're the good guys. They're anti-fascist. No, you moron. People don't even do any research. Antifa is it's anti-fascist by name, but they are fascists. They oppress. If you don't believe in what they say, or if they consider what you have to say and think not good, they oppress you. That's a fascist. And they're actually, if you look them up, they're anarchists, anarcho-communists. They don't care about democracy or free speech. They are anarcho-communists, and who? If I'm looking at the TV and I see people dressed in black masks, those are the good guys. Yeah, we're programmed to see anybody carrying a Confederate flag or a Nazi flag. Those are the bad guys, but you got to be kidding me. You see a mob of people dressed in black, looking like ISIS, carrying weapons. Oh, yeah, they're peaceful protests. That's how the media, the fake news, spins it. They're peaceful. No, they're not. Just go back and look at that scene with the car mowing people down. As soon as that car rammed into the other car, the whole swarm of people that scattered came back, and they bashed that car. They bashed all the glass and windows in that car. Every one of them had tire irons, bats, whatever. And then that guy peeled back, but he was wrong too. but it's ridiculous. And then Trump comes out and he says, "Oh, he denounces everybody. He denounced the neo-Nazis, the white supremacists, and all that bullshit." And then he says it's also on many sides, and the media freaks out. You gotta hear these press conferences. The media is like they're like kindergarten children. And now everybody attacks. This is their way of attacking. See, because the Russia thing is bullshit. So that nobody's buying that anymore. So now they move on to this. Now you hear the rhetoric. Oh, Trump showed his true colors. You saw the very true colors of Donald Trump. What? That he denounced racism and hatred on all sides? Unbelievable. So we're gonna bring in James. James, are you there?
Yes, I am.
What? How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great, my friend. You know, my wedding's 17 days away.
Yeah.
And no, I'm doing pretty well for myself. My job's going really well. My weight loss is going well. Hopefully, once I come back from this honeymoon, I'll be able to start working on my book again.
Oh, okay. Oh, so what do you, James? I know we put you for guest co-host for Andrew. What do you have to think of all this? Have you been following this? Or are you in honeymoon land?
No. Listen, my finger is on the pulse. Well, what I want to first of all say is this. Anybody that encourages racism towards anybody is a problem.
Right. Of course, we know this.
That's number one. But just like the president, it goes both ways. The people that think that just because African Americans are dark-skinned that they're automatically inferior, they're assholes.
Right. James, your mic is a little low, or is it my headphones?
I think it may be you, Frank, because I'm all the way up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're right. God, I'm sorry.
The people that throw the race card for every single little thing are just as much part of the problem.
Right. But listen, I mean, listen. These first of all, Charlottesville this is in Virginia, I think, right? Charlottesville, Virginia. I
believe so.
It's all these little hick towns. We're from New York. I call these places hick towns. Like these I consider the backwoods, the backwoods of the United States. Yes, do these backwoods still have like the old mentality from from the years past, the racism? Is there people who still fly the Confederate flag? I don't know. They say the Confederate flag is heritage, not hate. I don't know. I don't see. Listen, I don't understand that whole thing. The Confederate flag was the flag of the South after they seceded from the Union during the Civil War. That was the new flag, and they lost the war. Why keep it? I don't understand.
I've never understood that either, Frank.
I guess from what I hear, they keep it as it's a rebel flag, so they're still rebellious. But I don't understand. But anyway, it's 2017. If these people will have you think that if you go into these places, if you're that they're lynching people like it's 1930. I don't know. I don't think so. I don't understand. But
I honestly find it silly because what that flag symbolized during those days was rebellion against the Union, and what was the South all about? It was about maintaining their slavery. And let's be honest, Frank, that wasn't about race. It was about money. It was about free labor. And skin color was just the scapegoat they used to carry that out.
Yeah. Well, yeah, they brought it. Listen, I wrote about this the other day. These people will have you think that the white man and America is evil for having slavery. Listen, throughout the whole of human history, slavery has been prominent throughout the whole world. It's an accepted thing. As a matter of fact, the United States and the North, we're responsible for abolishing slavery to the known civilization. After that Civil War, slavery ended. Well, I mean, maybe there might be some slavery still. There probably is slavery going on in the world, but we don't hear about it. But we ended it, and it was a normal thing. You go back to the Egyptians. The Egyptians had slaves.
I was about to say, you think they're going to tear down the pyramids? I doubt that.
Right. It was a known thing. If a country, if some country or army came and invaded your country, they killed the men. They killed all the men, kept the women and children, and put them into slavery. It's a known thing. But anyway, listen. It's 2017, and listen. We're from New York. I don't see it. Yes, is there racism? Yeah, but I mean, these people will have you think that if you go to these places in the South, you're going to get lynched. I mean, James, listen to this. I mean, they would have you think if you go down there, you're going to hear songs like this. Can you hear that?
Yeah, I hear it.
Yeah. I mean, you hear songs like that.
I think.
I mean, it's ridiculous. That's from that song's from 1927.
Wow, didn't know that.
What's that?
I did not know that.
Yeah. So that's what my point is. Who thinks like that anymore down south? If you go into a bar, do you think there's going to be a band playing Run Nigga Run?
Well, I can tell you that, because I've spoken to several of my friends who are African American. There are some places in this country where they will not go.
Right. And listen, I won't even go there. I mean, listen, if you when you think about the definition of white supremacists in the Klan, they hate everybody. If you're not a WASP is a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant, they hate you. I'm Italian. I'm not even Italian. I'm Sicilian. That's a big difference. I'm from the island next to Italy. Sicily didn't become part of Italy until 100 years ago. They hate me because I have black blood in me, or I have mixed blood. They would hate me. So this idea of a white pure supremacist. Come on, it's 2017. How many people actually do you think like that? It's got to be 2%, 3%, 4%. It's a very small fringe, and it's the same thing on the other side with the communists. But anyway, so James, are you nervous now with your wedding coming up?
I'm not really. The biggest nerves for me is not even. It's not even marriage and the wedding. The most nerves I got is getting on these friggin' planes. And I guess maybe these terrorists have succeeded.
Oh, there's nothing
in making me weary.
The terrorists won.
With me, they have, because I'm more concerned about protecting my wife.
James, nothing's gonna happen. You can't think like that. See, this is another thing. People are just all over. People, their nerves, afraid, anxiety. Because people just listen to the news, don't do any research, and just whatever the news tells them, it's brainwashing. And even a smart guy like James, he look at him. You hear him; he's nervous about flying. What do you think? He thinks the terrorists are going to hijack the plane. It's sick. It's sick. That's why our country's the way it is. We're a nation that's being constantly bombarded with propaganda and being brainwashed. But where'd you say you're going, James?
Italy.
Wow. Would you say you're going to what's the name of the place?
I'm going to Venice.
Oh, really?
Yes. We may visit a couple of other areas, but that's the main place where we'll be.
Yeah, nothing's gonna happen, James. It's a great it's Italy's a great place, and you have nothing to worry about. Even though they'll tell you about the you see on TV the refugees and stuff like that. You don't have to worry about anything.
All right.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, you can't live your life scared. If you're that way of thinking, it's like walking around with a gun with somebody that has a gun to the back of your head that they could shoot you at any time. You can't think like that. You understand what I'm saying? It's
no,
like
you make a good point. You make a good point.
yeah, it's like walking. It's like going on the subway and thinking that anybody could rob you at gunpoint at any second. You can't think like that. Listen, most of the stuff that we see on TV, that never happens in real life. That's in the streets. It's just it's 1%, and that 1% is always what you see on the news.
Okay,
it's crazy. So yeah, you're gonna go to Italy. That's good. Like I said, I got on you last time about a month ago. I got on James about getting married. Listen, it's a good thing. Me, just personally, I'm you. You see how you're scared about terrorists? That's how I'm scared about getting married, because I just think I couldn't handle it if it didn't turn out okay.
Well, that's the gamble that you take, and honestly, marriage is something I never considered up until the point I met the person I'm going to marry.
Right.
So, I guess maybe you just haven't met the right person, Frank.
Well, maybe I've met the wrong people. Listen, they all start off as the right people, but it just never ends well. Listen, but I'm just saying, even if it's the right person and things are going good, relationships just turn sour because people change. It's people grow every few years. People change. What you liked 4 years ago, you don't like today. It's just people grow. It's and especially in our society today, where we have access to so many things and we see different things. People's tastes change, but I don't know. So you already have your place picked out, you said?
Oh yeah, well my apartment's all set up. Hopefully you'll be coming by to see it. It's a great apartment, Frank. I love my place.
Yeah, I bet. We'll see what happens. Pray you don't get kicked out.
Well, I can tell you this: my check pays the rent, so she ain't kicking me out.
Oh, really? So, this is where I always tell people. Now, what happens if you have a fight? Not you, James. I don't want to put the jinx on you. I'm saying, what happens if you, like James, you have an apartment with your new bride, and when a fight breaks out, and what happens if your wife calls the cops?
If he calls the cops, they're gonna have to find me, because when I usually my thing is when we have an argument, my key is to go for a walk.
Right, but what if when you go for a walk, the door's locked?
I'll make sure to carry my keys, and if I don't, I'm an idiot.
Yeah, but then see, that's what I'm saying. What do you do as a man or whatever? Now you just pretend you're James, and you're having a fight, and now you can't get into your own house that you paid for.
Listen, what I've been told by several people who have had successful marriages for more than 20 years is this: communication is key, and that's the problem, Frank. A lot of people in today's nobody likes to fucking talk. Everyone's texting or all this other bullshit. No one likes to have an actual conversation with another human being.
So what do you say? What do you say? Nobody got divorced before text messages?
I'm not saying that, but I'm saying it's higher than it's ever been.
Right. Well, yeah. You know what is? Like I said, it's just that people are exposed. We have everything at our fingertips. Especially now with the internet. There's a million dating sites, and you see all this beauty and stuff. These things, these treasures, supposed treasures. The grass is always greener on the other side, and it's like, oh, maybe I could do better. I don't know. I think I told you last time that I read this study about marriages and why there's a 50% divorce rate. The study said that the reason why marriages don't succeed is because of the encroachment of space. See, everything is fine before you move in, before you get married, because you're living in different places, and then when you get married and you're living under the one roof, it's that the space, it's the invasion of privacy, and it gets to people, and they can't. That's what drives them over the edge. Even if they don't realize it, even if you're not conscious of it, that constant space of having somebody next to you or in you or in your house. And this study said that people, married couples who actually had two separate homes, meaning one person lives in one apartment and the other person lives in another apartment, they reported a happier marriage and a less of a divorce rate. I don't know. That seems kind of funny. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I think that's kind of baloney, because let me tell you something. My folks are great people. If they can survive marriage, anyone can.
Right. Listen, but you can't argue with the statistics. The divorce rate in the United States is 50%. So that means for every two marriages, one ends up in divorce. That's the average. Yeah, that's the average. We could give we could all give great examples of people who have been married for 25 years. They're in love, but there's also those who get married and get divorced after 4 months. It's crazy. I mean, what happened? What happened? Why was everything great? Like I said, I was telling James, just think of all the things you have to do to actually get married, to actually commit to somebody. You have to love that person, and this is it. I can't be without you, baby. Not one day.
You talk like that, Frank. It's just the funniest fucking thing.
Yeah. This is the best. This is just like James talking. It's the best. She's all that I think about. I know I haven't thought about any women since I met her. And then 4 months later, it's the divorce court. You get your papers like Felix and Oscar from The Odd Couple.
It's all over, Felix. The whole marriage, we're getting an annulment. You understand? I don't know it anymore.
You got your eviction papers served. That's funny. But I don't know. Listen, again, like I said, you're gonna be great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm pretty confident in where I'm heading. Do you have a second place pick?
No, I do not have a second place.
Well, you're where you are now. Your parents' house.
Yep.
That's the thing. Could you imagine if you're living with somebody, you don't have, and that's it. That's your home, and the person you're living with calls the cops, and they throw you out. And the cops tell you, could you find a place to live? Could you find a place to stay for the night, like a hotel? Could you imagine that? Like you're getting thrown out of your own apartment. Like it's like, oh, I couldn't see. That's what my fear is. I can't feel that vulnerable.
Well, that's the thing, Frank. With marriage, there is vulnerability, and you have to be able to be vulnerable with that person. And if you can't, then that's not the right person.
Yeah. Or even the flip side. What if, what if your wife, you get into a heated debate, and all of a sudden you go downstairs to go get a drink of water, and then the next thing you know, she's coming down the stairs with her luggage. Where you going? I'm going. None of your business. And they're storming outside the house.
You choose to do that, she'll know what she's walking out on.
Yeah, but I'm saying what that's the horror. Like what? Oh man, I can't think of it. Anyway, coming up at 8:30, James is going to read the news. You ready to read the news, James?
Yeah, why the hell not? Let's talk about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, what you call? Well, we still got 5 minutes, but it's crazy. And
no, without a doubt, listen, there is no doubt in the world that marriage can be crazy, but it's also your approach. It's also your approach to things. Like, I've approached her with things that I thought were going to be fierce arguments, and they turned out to not be bad at all.
Yes,
it was all about my approach.
Right. Or you just got to be smart about what you're going to argue about.
You got to pick your battles.
Well, okay. So just real quick, what's like a little argument you have? Let me hear this.
Okay. 9 times out of 10, it's always been about, getting her to open up, because she was always a very reclusive person.
Mm-hmm.
And you know how women always say, "Oh, men, they're all the same. They keep secrets. They do this. They do that."
Right. All right.
So my mentality has always been, okay, You want me to be honest and forthcoming with you? Fine. Give me the same in return.
Well, so you're talking about trust.
Yes, absolutely. Women don't trust men, period. They just don't.
Yeah, well, I just think that's human nature. Nobody trusts each other. Like to me, you hear me? The way I'm talking, I'm always waiting for the shoe to drop. It's just in general.
I'm not trying to be a dick, but what that tells me is that you've been hurt at some point in your life, and you don't want to give.
I've been hurt all the time, and not just from women, from men, friends. It's always something always winds up happening. It's like.
Frank, anybody hurt you, you tell me, I kick their ass.
No, but you know what I'm saying. Sometimes you might stay friends with somebody, and you let them get away with stuff. You let something slide, and something slide, and something slide.
Oh, do I know that?
Yeah, and it's just for being this. See, I used to be like that. I used to say, I'll let it slide because I used to have this fear of being alone and not having any friends. I love that. I love having one or two friends. That's it. You all of a sudden these friends turn into 200-pound tumors on that leech onto and start draining the life out of you. Oh, could you do me a favor? And I need this. And could you help me with this? And could you help me with that?
And they're never any good to you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And then when you need a favor, I don't know. I can't. I have to go somewhere this weekend. I can't. I have to work. Come on. You see what I'm saying? And stuff. See, that's what I'm saying. I'm a giving person, and because I'm such a giving person, I never receive equal in return. So that's why I always get jilted.
I used to go through the same bullshit, Frank. I'm not going to name names because, knowing my luck, he'll be listening. There was a guy that I was friends with for years. I always got along with him. And then something just, I don't know, in 2015, he made a complete about face.
Yeah, but listen, what happened? You broke up with him?
No. What happened was he just started to be a verbally abusive piece of shit. And now we're not friends anymore. Because I turned around after months and months of just taking, like you said.
Right.
And I just said, fuck you.
You take it on the chin.
And he didn't like hearing fuck you.
Right. Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. You see, people just grow apart. It's people. What I liked, like the other day, I was reading my Facebook posts from like 3-4 years ago, and I'm like, "What? I wrote those things? I wanted to delete it so bad. It's just not that it was something terrible. It's just
no, but
it didn't. It didn't sound like me. But anyway, all right. So it's time to read the news, James.
Let's see. What we got here? Let's turn the screen on.
Let's see. Andrew, every time we have a co-host, we've had you. We've had.
Okay, here's the news. Trump's business councils dissolve after CEO turns against him. Only a day after President Donald Trump labeled as grandstanders the growing number of CEOs quitting his business council to protest his response to a white supremacist rally that turned violent, the president abolished the advisory groups rather than put pressure on executives to stay. Thank you all, Trump tweets Wednesday afternoon. His announcement came within an hour of reports that one of the groups, a forum of top finance and business executives, was planning to disband. It appeared to be an effort by Trump to get ahead of the business leaders who were abandoning him a day after he equated neo-Nazis to counter-protesters at a New York City press conference. It's a stunning rebuke for the first CEO president who pitched himself as a savvy businessman who would slash taxes and regulations to unleash growth by U.S. companies. Markets largely ignored the move, however, and the Standard & Poor 500 index was up less than 1% as of 3:42 p.m.
You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired. You're fired.
At a press conference Tuesday, Trump said he would replace those who quit his council of manufacturing executives. He bid good riddance to one CEO, Merck & Company, Kenneth Frazier, who was first to resign. He then went on to talk about race relations and the violence in Virginia, placing partial blame on demonstrators protesting a gathering of white supremacists in Charlottesville. A woman was killed during the event after a man rammed a car into a crowd.
Yeah. Now let me see. This is again. See how everybody is so fake and phony. Now all these CEOs, whoever, I don't even know. He invited all these CEOs to be part of his conference or something, and now all these CEOs are bailing on him because they don't because of the media. So these CEOs, they don't want to risk even being labeled or being in the same sentence as Trump, because Trump is Satan. Don't you understand? And so for public relations, they're backing out. But see, Trump gives zero fucks, and he told them, "You can okay." He has many more in line waiting that will jump in their place. Guys, continue, James.
All right. The evening after Trump's comments, members of the Strategy and Policy Forum, led by Blackstone Group LP's Steven Schwartzman, began to waver. BlackRock Incorporated CEO Larry Fink called some of his firm's clients and said he planned to resign from the forum, according to a person familiar with the matter. The next morning, he told Schwartzman he was out. On a conference call late Wednesday morning with members of the Strategy Forum, the group was polled to ask who would stay. Of the dozen executives on the call, 10 voted to leave. According to another person familiar with the event, the group planned to tell the White House about the decision before making it public, according to a third person.
Yeah. It's all, like I said, this is all about public relations.
Absolutely.
Even though these CEOs probably think Trump is right, but because this whole wave, this media bombardment of fake news, it's fake. And when I say fake news, it's not even to be a joke. Literally, there was news outlets telling you that Trump didn't condemn the violence, where he did it over and over. There's even a video out of Trump condemning Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan from 10 years ago, even before.
I was about to say, I seem to recall him on television years ago condemning these bastards, even when before he was running for president.
And you want to laugh? And by the way, James, I don't know if you know this. Andrew, he tells me that this shows we're on the afternoon in the West Coast, so that's definitely liberal country. So I guess you're brave to be talking like this. But but they talk about Trump, and meanwhile, if you go online and you search for Obama last year, remember? See, again, the public forgets so fast because the media doesn't tell them. Where you had in Dallas last year, where those 5 cops got killed in the Black Lives Matter protest. Do you remember that, James?
Oh, I remember, and I remember the president making himself look like a fucking idiot.
Oh, he said, oh, we have to listen to them. He said, even if you don't like Black Lives Matter, you have to listen to the pain in their hearts. What?
Really? So what about the pain of the families of the?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. And the media loves that. See, again, that's tipping your hand. That shows you what side you're on, and the real enemy of the country. But Trump, he's the evil dictator. All right, I'm sorry again, James.
No, don't worry about it. Where was I? In a memo sent to BlackRock employees and provided to Bloomberg Wednesday, Fink said that the violence, racism, and anti-Semitism in Virginia had to be criticized without caveats. While I have disagreed with the president in certain instances this year, I continued to participate in the forum because I believed it was important to have a voice at the table for investors, including our clients, Fink wrote. Unfortunately, at the last few days, I concluded that I can no longer in good conscience participate in the forum. The events that occurred in Charlottesville, as I said on Monday, are nothing short of domestic terrorism. Such racism and bigotry must not just be condemned, must also be condemned unequivocally, he said.
Well, what do they want him to do? I don't understand. What do they want him to do? Does he want them to round up everybody in Charlottesville and hang them? I don't understand. What is unequivocally? What? He how many times does he have to say it?
And he hasn't said it enough.
He could say it 1,000,000 times. That's the thing. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Frank, I agree. Listen, I agree with you. He's been condemning these bastards for years, and no matter what he says, he is still projected as a bigot, as a racist.
Oh yeah, because again,
I don't get it.
Yeah, listen,
Get it.
that's the whole thing. He was never supposed to be president. I told you. You know who was supposed to be president? Jeb Bush. Jeb Bush was supposed to be the president right now, not Hillary. Jeb Bush, and he ruined all their plans. And once Jeb Bush turned out to be a dud, Hillary was the next best choice. Because how many times have I told everybody since 1980, right? 1980 to now, that's 37 years. 36 years. 32 out of those 36 years, there's been either a Bush or a Clinton in the White House, and they wanted
like dual monarchy.
Yeah, and they wanted another 8 years. They wanted 40 out of 44 years, and Trump screwed their plans up. And now they are hell bent on doing everything they can to try to convince the public that he's a disaster, that he's racist, that he's a Russian agent. There's
no one put the Russian bullshit.
Listen, all this does is it makes Trump a sympathetic figure because people like me, and by the way, I voted for Obama twice, so there goes your theory. It's only makes him a sympathetic figure, and people like me and you maybe are going to rally behind Trump to fight the enemy that is the fake news and the people that control the fake narratives being put out.
Yep.
Anyway, good. I'm sorry. Good.
Okay. The strategy group is one of several the White House convened early this year to advise the president, though it and the manufacturing panel haven't met recently. Jamie Dimon, the J.P. Morgan Chase and Company CEO, was also a member of the strategy council and said he supported the breakup.
Yeah, and this is another thing. They how many times does the media want you to believe that Trump plays golf every day? He goes over here. This guy, President Trump, he has taken to the job of president like a pig in shit. This guy loves the job. He loves being the president. He works every day. Every day he's meeting with CEOs. The media doesn't report it, of course. This guy is behind the scenes making deals all day. How do you think he gets? You know how hard it is to get 10 CEOs of major Fortune 500 companies in the same room or on the same conference call? Do you know the wheeling and dealing it takes?
Listen, I could tell you as a person that has to set up family meetings between physicians, nurse managers in a hospital, that alone is a headache. Could you imagine getting the boss's boss of each of those entities?
Right,
it's gotta be damn near impossible.
No, it's not only your boss; it's the person that owns the company.
Yep.
Yeah, and that's just one thing. This guy meets with. He has press conferences. He has to meet with this. What happened last week? All of a sudden, you notice. See, when I told James every week on this radio show, I have to break down North Korea and explain to Andrew and I guess the audience what a sham North Korea is. Those people have nothing. Every week I have to say those people eating grasshoppers and crickets and rats, they're not a threat. They have nothing. Maybe they might have one missile or whatever. And if they launched it, even if it got off the ground, it would be a miracle. And then all hell would rain down on North Korea and they'd be destroyed. And what happened with that last week? We were World War III. Remember the fake?
What's funny? If he would have said nothing, they would have called him a pussy.
Yeah. They would have said, "Oh, he's
not a leader."
Yeah. Putin is controlling him behind the scenes. And he did. Oh yeah, last week when he came back and responded to Kim Jong-un, you had the media. The fake media, and that just shows you how biased they are. They would say, one guy, I forgot where he was from, he actually said that Kim Jong-un is acting more responsibly than Trump.
What?
Yeah, I swear, I can't make this up. He said...
Are these people out of their fucking minds?
Yeah, no, they're not out of their minds. They are either liars, they either are tremendous liars, or they are insane. Either way, they are the enemy of the people. Yeah, Kim Jong-un is threatening to envelop the United States in fire and launch missiles at Guam. But when Trump answers and says that the United States will respond with fire and fury, he's acting irresponsible and he's unstable. Are you kidding me? Come on, man. Come on.
People are out of their fucking minds.
And you know who's even more out of their minds? The public who listens to this shit and believes, eats all this shit up every night like peas and carrots. Got it, James. You got another story?
Yes, I do. Oh, this one you're going to enjoy, Frank. How to cope with President Trump's stress disorder.
Oh, it's actually called Trump derangement syndrome. No, I'm sorry. Hysterical Trump derangement syndrome. No, it's
all right, let's get into it. So many Americans are suffering from political anxiety that doctors have coined a term for their distress. President Trump's stress disorder. Patients are turning up in therapist offices across the country reporting symptoms including insomnia, hypervigilance, and the inability to pull themselves away from the 24-hour news cycle. Therapists report that their practices are more robust than ever. Deborah Cooper, a California therapist, said she can hardly accommodate all her patients. I have people I have not seen in literally 30 years that have called me back to come back in because of trauma. I am more than full. I am overworking.
Could you believe this? These are probably adults in their 50s, no, probably in their 60s. That all of a sudden, imagine that because they're triggered, they can't function because of Trump.
Unreal. It's unreal. Let's see. She cited Trump's lackluster condemnation of the white supremacist.
She even cited Trump's lackluster condemnation. He didn't get up there and rip his shirt off and challenge the Nazis to a fight in the back alley.
Saying that hate groups like the Ku Klux Klan and white supremacists have no place in America, I guess isn't good enough. Yeah. Unbelievable. He really said on national television, they have no place in our country.
Yeah, no, it's not enough. It's not enough.
I don't know what is enough.
James, he showed his true colors. How can't you see that?
Oh, God. Yeah, he showed his true colors, that he's on the American side.
Yeah. Oh, America, James, you're xenophobic.
Jesus Christ.
See, then you wonder why all these people are in the shrink's office.
They're in their shrink's offices because they're fucking babies. They can't cope with the fact that the bitch lost. Get over it. She lost.
Yeah.
And nothing they do is going to change it.
And you know what? And you know why? It's because these people are listening to Jimmy Kimmel and Stephen Colbert every night, MSNBC with Richard Maddow, CNN, and all they hear is that Hillary's has 95% chance of winning. They laugh at Trump, ha 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 ha, and then when reality hits, then they don't know what to think.
One thing, not to deviate from the news, but I have to say something. The night of the election, Frank and I were up all night.
Oh yeah, James. Oh yeah. James was hysterical. Even when the New York Times was reporting that Trump had a 70% chance of winning, and this was like 10 o'clock at night, and then it went up to 80, 90. James is still panicking.
Because I figured that this was Frank and I. Frank has used this term many times in our other shows. I figured that the news was just trying to feed us a big cookie, just to take it away from us because they control everything. No. But that was not the case here. And I'll never forget, Frank telling me, Jimmy, it's over. Don't worry about it. He's the fucking president.
Yeah. Listen, at 10:30 at night, 11 o'clock on election night, when the New York Times is reporting Trump's 95% chance of winning, and it keeps going up, there's no way that they're going to 95%. That's.
And I was up till 3 a.m, and I had to get up for a 9 o'clock shift. But the funniest thing was, once it was confirmed, oh God, those poor liberals. The funniest thing was,
you're not having a terrible dream. Also, you're not dead and you haven't gone to hell. This is your life now. This is our election now. This is us. This is our country.
Oh, thank God.
And the terrible thing is,
I cannot believe this is happening. I'm literally about to fucking kill myself, and I'm not kidding. You better fucking fix this shit right now.
Yeah, fix it. Turn the election
I
over.
literally am gonna die. I need an ambulance. I can't believe it.
But in her lifetime, she deserves to be the first female president. And that's what makes me so sad. And President Obama, Mr. Obama, I want to say thank you for everything.
Thank you for selling our country out. Oh, thank you for doing this.
Frank, I can't with you. You're too funny.
Oh, it's incredible. All right, I'm sorry, James. Got to continue the story.
No.
This fascinating story of idiots in the psych's office.
Idiots in the psych's office. I don't even think that covers it. But the funny thing was, the night of the election, I went down to my living room because my dad was watching the whole thing unfold because he's an ardent Trump supporter as well, and so's my uncle.
Racist.
Yeah, I guess they're racist. Unbelievable. The funny thing was, my father worked for the sanitation department, picked up garbage in black neighborhoods, and made friends with almost all the people that he picked up from.
Of course.
I'm not saying you, but I'm saying, but 90% of the people out there that hate Trump think that all his supporters, anyone that voted for him, is racist and hates everything.
Yeah. The Klan, the half the country is made up of the Klan. Yeah. What about what about the black supporters? Oh yeah, if you see a black supporter, oh he's an Uncle Tom. Or what about
said that?
Oh come on, James. How do you think they
out of their fucking mind saying shit like that?
Yeah, of course. How do you think they combat when you see all the black supporters? Oh, just this week there was a big controversy on YouTube. These two African American females, Diamond and Silk, they have a big YouTube channel. They've been broadcasting since the election, since last year. They're two African American women. And they get on YouTube and they spit the truth, knowledge about all the hypocrisy, just like we're talking about. And just this week, YouTube, Google, which is another arm of the enemy of our country, who censored them and demonetized them. And it made big news.
Unbelievable. They got censored?
No, they got demonetized. That means they're not making it. Their videos aren't making any money anymore. No, they pull the ads off their videos.
That's ridiculous. Isn't that basically
censorship?
Isn't that basically censorship and discrimination? Yeah.
But on YouTube, you could find thousands and thousands of pedophile-like videos. That's okay. You could find thousands and thousands of ISIS recruiting videos. That's okay. That's not hateful, and that meets community standards because that's who runs the country. People who support ISIS and fund ISIS and all the pedophiles in the upper echelons. Okay, I'm sorry, James. Continue the story. We're running out of time.
Okay. Let's see. Clinical psychologist Scott Christenly said President Trump's remarks Tuesday serve as confirmation that his patient's anxieties is well-founded.
Unbelievable.
This is more evidence they should be anxious. There is evidence that anxiety is real, and it's not just something they're making up. Worry over America's future under Trump spans the country. It's so pervasive that therapists say most of their clients have brought it up in sessions. I don't think I have a patient that has never mentioned it. It's remarkable.
Yeah. Said
Sue Elias, a New York-based psychotherapist. Elias describes a patient raised in dysfunctional alcoholic household whose past traumas have been brought to the surface by Trump.
So now these patients, a lot of these patients had dysfunctional alcoholic households, and now this is coming up in their therapy sessions. It's you see, Trump is their alcoholic father all over again. That's how they're relating to Trump. It's crazy. All right, we got to move on, James. Let's go to the next story.
Okay, let's see. The next story, Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 6. In a devastating blunder, HBO Nordic has accidentally dropped Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 6 4 days early.
Are you a Game of Thrones fan, James?
I have just started watching Season 1.
I watched maybe 2 minutes of the opening of Season 1. It's right now. It's the show to watch. Everybody loves it. But early last week, James, I don't know if you read. There was a story that HBO got hacked by hackers, and these hackers were extorting HBO that they were going to release episodes of Game of Thrones. So so I guess HBO said, okay, we'll just release it. We'll leak the episode for you. I think this is all bullshit. It's all PR thing. If you remember a couple of years ago, Sony, remember the hackers? They hacked Sony.
Yes.
Yeah. It came out afterwards that was bullshit. It was a PR stunt because of the movie, The Interview with Seth Rogen and James Franco, where they infiltrate North Korea to assassinate Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that movie bombed. It tanked. So that's what they did to save that movie. They contrived this hoax that North Korea was hacking Sony to stop the release of the movie, but then they admitted it was a PR stunt. And I think this is a PR stunt too. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Very quickly, James. We're almost out of time.
The episode was available on demand to subscribers in Spanish and Nordic territories for 1 hour before being removed, long enough for it to be ripped and shared.
Of course. The whole internet has it already.
HBO Europe said in a statement it had learned that the upcoming episode Game of Thrones was accidentally posted for a brief time on the HBO Nordic and HBO Hispana platforms. The error appears to have been originated with a third-party vendor, and the episode was removed as soon as it was recognized.
Yeah.
This is not actually the first time this has happened. An episode of Season 6 having been accidentally uploaded by HBO Nordic arm a few hours before official broadcast. So this isn't the first time, and it won't be the last.
It's bullshit. It's listen. Did they say they fired the person who did it? Did they say who was responsible? Did they say, it was a technician or it was a producer?
It was a third party.
It's
bullshit. Third party, which to me,
which means the PR firm. Anyway,
smells like a giant turd to me.
Okay, James. Go ahead, James. Let's go to the next story.
Next story is kind of gross. A quarter of people hurt themselves while grooming their pubic hairs. The fuck is with these people? Less pubic hair, more problems. About 26% of men and women who groom their pubic hairs have been injured at least once, according to JAMA dermatology study published Wednesday.
I know this is so true. The few times that I've tried to trim down there, I always wind up with cuts, and it hurts.
God.
And you got to put on the lotion, and it hurts.
Jesus Christ! I think that pretty much covers it, Frank.
For us men, hair grows everywhere except your head, where we need it. But I personally have to admit, I like the female form as bold as a baby's butt.
Man, this guy's too fucking funny.
I do. Gotta continue. I'm sorry. We have a couple of minutes.
I think that's it, Frank.
No, I'm saying. No, I don't know. I don't like to go down there and it looks like you could plant tomatoes down there. You know what I'm saying?
Come on. Shrubbery and weeds. You got to cut through with a machete.
Yeah. Listen, come on. That's from our earlier human evolution, where where people didn't have clothes and hygiene, so the hair grew down there to protect from disease. It would catch all the lice and all the disease. Could you imagine going down on a female in prehistoric times? It must have been eating. It must have been like eating a rotten cod.
Oh God! Oh fucking Heidi!
Come on, I'm serious. Come on.
Frank is about to ruin vagina for men everywhere.
No, it's the truth. Come on. I'm sure guys out there, you've probably all had that one experience where, as soon as the pants come off, it smells like the fish market. Listen, and listen. Some women, they're very conscious of it. They're very conscious of it. That's why, some women actually don't like for men to go down to go down there because they get all self-conscious. They might think, but you don't need hair down there anymore. So for women, there's a double standard. Go get that wax, and even for men, trim that hairy bush.
I can't.
Go ahead, James. Any more stories?
No.
Yes, there is. You just don't want to read.
Naked man squirts his hose at cops while on school roof. What the fuck is going on in this world, Frank?
It's Trump.
He's ruining the country.
Yes.
I don't get it.
What happened with
starved man climbed to the top of Greenwich Village School and removed his clothes while squirting a garden hose at cops, authorities said Wednesday.
What do they mean by his garden hose?
Squirting a garden hose, not his hose.
Okay. I thought he was peeing on the cops.
No. What the fuck? Police were called around 10:10 p.m. Tuesday to Little Red School House in Elizabeth Irwin High School near 6th Avenue and Bleecker Street, where they found a 36-year-old screaming incoherently atop the building. The nude man eventually made his way down to a lower ledge where he could be swinging the hose and periodically spraying the water at the cops who were trying to convince him to come down. The man initially refused to comply with police, but eventually surrendered around 1 a.m.
Could you
were there from 10:10 to 1 a.m.
Yeah. Now, could you imagine if you're a cop in New York City? I mean, you could expect, but you got a naked guy on top of a roof, and you got to get him down. Maybe the fake news will have you think that the cops just take out their gun and shoot him. No, they got to go up there, talk to him. They got to get people up there to rescue him. All the while, this guy's screaming and cursing and spraying his hose at the cops. It's unbelievable. All right. James, we're just about out of time. Thank God. Thanks for.
I appreciate you having me on.
Yes. And if Andrew doesn't get his act together, he's gonna be on the unemployment line. He's gonna like Gorilla Monsoon would say. Anyway, thanks, James. Is there anywhere you want people to follow you anywhere?
I don't want no one following me that doesn't already know me. So I'm good.
Okay, that's a good answer. All right, so thanks, audience, for another week. We'll see you next Wednesday, 8 to 9. Andrew will be back.
And if he's not, I'll be here.
Yes. All right, so thanks, James, and we'll see you next week.
Take care.